Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's the Move? Yeah, I'm here to talk about a film that I'm sure you're excited about. I was very excited about it. The Revenant. I mean, with Oscar season coming around, you're hearing about this film a lot. Alejandro Inarritu, who made Birdman, a fantastic film as well. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy, a bunch of great, talented people coming together to make this film, and the trailers look great as well. Why would you not be excited? I'm gonna just put it out there and say you have to check this movie out. There's no two ways about it. I feel while it could divide people, it might be a relatively polarizing film. There is still something that is almost undoubtedly, almost unarguably to be taken away from this, which I believe is the visuals of the film. The way it is shot and presented is something that's never been done before. It's shot in all natural light, first off. It was also shot chronologically, but the point is, I don't think I've ever seen a film look this good, and I can almost go out on a limb and say this is probably, at least in my ears, the greatest looking film or the most well shot film I've perhaps ever seen. And I know I'm just fresh off seeing it, but I feel like I'm willing to go to that extent. It just looks that damn good, and I feel like that alone is what really makes you or warrants you to need to see this. Beyond that, however, I will say the performances as well are really something that really attracted me to this film. Definitely, while you expect Leonardo DiCaprio to be great, I personally believe that Tom Hardy stole the show, and the ability to emote without saying a lot is something that I do not believe a lot of actors are able to do, but I believe that they are able to pull off, which leads to my next point, actually. The fact that, there are a lot of long stretch moments, say, without dialogue, which, I mean, I'm okay with. I feel like telling a story without saying something is a visual way of saying, or a visual way, or an implicit way of really telling a story, which is a hard thing to do, but it was really successfully done. However, there are more than just brief moments at times where the simplicity of the story doesn't necessarily warrant the length of it. What I'm trying to say is, the story itself is a very simple tale, very easy to follow. I wouldn't necessarily say it lacks depth, but I feel like there isn't enough meat in there for it to really warrant that extra thinking time or that extra stretch of time as it goes on. And there are brief moments, especially towards the middle of the film, where you start to feel that it could move forward at a faster pace, if you will. It's not necessarily a way of saying you'd get bored, but rather, while the message is put across, again and again, and there are certain moments that aren't necessarily needed in terms of the length that they're drawn out to. But the simplicity of the story as well is both good and bad in terms of it allows you to really connect to what is an uncivilized world, in this case a very indecent time, a very strange, savage time, that makes it harder to connect to, but really speaks about the inherent nature of humans with regards to savagery. The absolute barbaric nature of this film alone is something that will get to you. It certainly made this film hard to watch at times, but at the same time even gripped me further to it. And I definitely think it really does a good job of understanding revenge, the real concept of revenge, and the idea of empty revenge as well is something that is good to see, because while it's a very uncivilized time and an uncivilized period of time that's really focused on, I think showing off a few moments of civility and beauty through the course of the film, whether visually, whether through dialogue, whether through a performance, really does elevate this film to a whole other level. I definitely think that, yes, it might falter at certain moments with regards to the simplicity, as I mentioned earlier, but if for nothing else, walking into this film, which will be in limited release and will be further released later on in wide, you're guaranteed an experience that's almost unlike any other, and I have to respect the filmmakers, the actors, the crew for that, to say the least. And when you ask what's the move, I say the move is give this movie a fucking shot, because you are going to get something out of it. I'm not saying you're going to love it, each to their own, but I really feel like this movie is going to leave you with something, and I really think that's a hard thing to do, to almost guarantee that, but that makes this film so worth watching.